Welcome back, dear listeners, to Morning Musings and Midnight Chats. It's been a moment, hasn't it?
You could call it a moment. Yeah.
Oh, Jay and I have been very, very busy. And every time we were like, oh yeah, okay, we're going to get back into the swing of things, life seemed to happen.
Always happening, in fact.
Yeah. It was quite a year for you. Getting the job, getting, things in order, trying to figure stuff out. And myself, I had projects that kind of started to take off with my writing and illustrating and now photography.
Mm-hmm. Many irons are in the fire.
We're a bit busy. So today I saw something on the road. And Jason, I know that you can relate to this with driving as much as you love it.
Yes.
So I saw something on the road today that enraged me. And I really feel like this requires us to have this discussion. And I don't know how many people this reaches, but if it reaches you people, I hope that you listen up and pay attention. So I'm driving down this area, Highway 66. And it's known for the amount of deaths, the amount of car accidents, people in their cars hitting other cars, but especially even drivers hitting bikers.
The Devil's Highway.
Yes, there are. Yes, and there's, do you know that one road when you drive up to my place, you've seen it, that one, not the road, but on Highway 66, there's that huge memorial with
For the officer?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So I don't know how many out there realize that a bike lane is just that. It's a frickin' bike lane. And what happened was my husband and I were driving up Highway 66. And this is something I think I've even mentioned to you. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it when you are driving down any highway, any road, right? And somebody has to take a left turn to get off of that highway or road, and there's a line of traffic behind you. Well, guess what? At least here in the state of Colorado, it is illegal. It is illegal. Go look it up in the frickin' handbook.
I think anywhere, but yes, certainly in Colorado.
Yes, certainly in Colorado. I can speak for my own stat. I can't speak for anybody else, but I think it is nationwide. But I'm going to tell you people, there is a white line, and that is for bikers. And here in Colorado, it's bikers galore. This state has 300 days of sunshine, so there are a lot of bikers. And on these streets where these bikers have the right to ride in that biking lane, there is a white line that divides our lane and their lane.
Yeah, gotta stay in your lanes.
Stay in your freaking lanes.
Stay in your lanes,
and
people.
Just because somebody decides to take a left turn because, I don't know, maybe that's where they work, maybe that's where they live, they're coming back from the store, or they're heading to their place of employment, especially out here in the farmland. Just because somebody stops in the middle of the road or the highway, what have you, guess what? It's your job, the people behind that person who is turning, it is your job to sit your ass tight and not drive into the bike lane. Why? Oh, because maybe you're busy. Maybe you're texting. Maybe you're talking on your phone. Maybe you're changing the channel on your radio and you don't notice that there's a biker coming up slow uphill or whatever. Maybe they're coming in fast and you just didn't take the time to look. But that is why you are supposed to stay in your lane, sit there, fully stopped, and wait for that person. Even if there's oncoming traffic in the opposite direction, you're supposed to sit and wait. You are not supposed to pull out behind the person who's taking that left. You're never supposed to pull out just because you don't have the patience and you don't have the time, you think. Well, you're going to have plenty of time thinking about your stupid effing mistake if you pull out and almost hit, or you do hit, the biker that is coming up the side. Now, I saw somebody do this. It is the rudest thing. And you know what? I am sick and tired of seeing people make this mistake where they think, oh, gee, he's taking a left turn. I've got to go. I'm in a hurry. And they pull out in front, off the side into the bike lane. Because I almost saw somebody get clipped right in front of us. And it was like, you know what? I am sick and goddamn tired. And you know what? If you have to censor me, fine, censor me. I don't care. But I am sick and goddamn tired of watching these drivers who have no patience and pull out right into that bike lane thinking that that's okay. That's the thing to do.
It's not okay.
No, it's not. So this is a public service fucking announcement. Have
Stay
a little
in your lane.
patience.
Wait.
Stay in your... Wait. Do not go around the person who's turning. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. This is exactly the reason that I will not. I mean, I have a bike, and I would ride my bike more often if I felt like there were more safe places to ride my bike, like with traffic, alongside traffic. But I will never do it. I will not. The only way I would ride
ignorant drivers.
Yeah, I would. The only way I would ride my bike is if it's a specific bike lane where there is no motor traffic. That's the only way. That's the only place I would ride a bike. I will not.
And in Longmont, where you do live, there is that greenway where bikers can be on the greenway, but that does not matter because there are designated bike lanes on every highway, every road, and bikers do have to, if they don't have a car, or maybe they're just, working on their health, they have the right to be on the road with us because there are road rules. Now, I know you think, I know you, Jay, you think I am a stickler for rules.
Well, I know you are.
But I mean, especially if you're in a parking lot. Yeah. Because if you've got little kids running with parents who are going into the store, that little kid isn't going to pay attention to you. That little kid doesn't care if there's a car and where he's going, because I'm sorry to offend everybody, and this is going to piss everybody off, but kids, they're stupid because they are not adults. They're not supposed to know.
They need supervision, but that's not always available.
Exactly. I see parents who have their kids, they're holding their little hand, and sometimes those little hands can be slippery and they slip right out and the kid goes running off. And if you are not giving signals, that parent has no idea where your car is going. So that's why it doesn't matter. If you are in a parking lot, use your goddamn signal. And if you're in a parking lot, check. Watch out. But anywhere you go, I don't care if it's, especially in a neighborhood, there are tons of kids in my neighborhood. And if you do not use that signal, at least if the kid is a little bit older, they're going to know which way you're going. I don't know. I am tired of ignorant drivers feeling like they can do whatever the hell they want when there are people, there are animals, there are bikers. And our patience isn't just to be kind. Our ability to be patient saves lives. Because like I said, imagine, oh, gee, I'm in a hurry. I can't wait for this person to take this left turn. There's a whole line of traffic in front of him. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, then you're going to be sitting your ass if you mow somebody over and end up in jail for involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah.
You're going to have plenty of time to think about how much patience you didn't have in that moment.
Right. And we're talking about we're recording this from a state with some of the worst drivers. Although I'm looking for the statistics, but in any case,
yes, I looked it up once, Colorado is number 3, and they also did the reason I looked it up was because on Channel 7 News about a month ago, they said that Colorado is number 3 in the nation for aggressive drivers. But you know what? A lot, and that, I don't know if that, was that your coffee cup that just, I don't know. And he's drinking coffee, everybody, because he needs it. I need it. It's Mercury retrograde. Well, I don't drink coffee, though. I'm like this naturally. Anyway, it was there, and we can say, oh, Coloradans are naturally aggressive drivers, except that most of our state now, these people are not from Colorado.
It's people moving here from other places where
they don't know how to drive.
We got to teach them some new rules, or probably old rules to us, but new rules to them, or at least The ones that
Patience.
they never followed anyway, probably, most likely.
I also want to rate.
Yeah, it's not just like, it's not just about being stickler for the rules. It's, obviously people are getting killed. It's like when you drive down one of these highways, or even not a highway, just a busy street, like an avenue, almost anywhere, you'll see, it's like it's almost every 500 feet you'll see a sign. It's like, this is in memorial for blah blah blah. Please drive safely and wear a seatbelt. But it's like, of course they're just going to ignore those if they can't be bothered to pay attention to traffic laws. Why are they going to be bothered to check these signs out that are supposed to help remind everyone to drive safely and to like be aware of other traffic and other cyclists? Like, when you get your license, you're supposed to know this.
You're supposed to go through a class, and if you didn't go through a class, then your parents should be teaching you. Yeah. And here's a little food for thought, everyone. I think people they are so interested in their own rights. Oh, you're impeding on my rights. This is a blah blah blah. Well, guess what? This is a little public service announcement as well. Driving is not a right. Let me repeat that. Let that absorb into your brains. Driving is not a right. It is a privilege, and it can be taken away. It is a privilege. You have driving privileges if you continue to make mistakes, speeding, or, I don't know, you end up clipping one of the bikers, or God forbid, a little kid.
Right.
Then you never deserved to have that license in the first place.
Yeah, I just wish they would revoke that privilege more often. Like when I was driving back to Denver from Pagosa Springs, and I reported that guy. Yes. I took a photo of the license. It was like a new car, so it was like a temporary license. And I took a photo because I was like, "There's no way. I want to make sure this guy, at the very least, somebody reports this, because he did. He almost got somebody killed, himself or somebody else, because he was driving in the other lane to pass, when you're not supposed to. I mean, people do it all the time, but like, usually they wait until there's clearly nothing. It's like a long stretch of just straight road, and your visibility is 100%. Like, I mean, I've seen people do that, that's twice. Like, somebody has done that on my way to work. Actually, somebody was driving in the other lane, almost clipped me. I was like, no way.
Well, okay. Let's talk about this. Let's give everyone a little lesson here. If you're passing, let's remember the right lane, everybody. The very far right lane is supposed to be the slow lane, in terms of people are just getting to work. They're not in a hurry. They're just driving like a normal person. If, however, for some reason you need to pass somebody because you don't know how to be patient, or you were late, you have a late start, the left lane is for passing. However, what doesn't everybody understand? That you can't pass in the left lane whenever you want. There has to be the ... dots going all the way down. And it's one thing if you are passing somebody on a highway as you're going from state to state. That's one thing. But we're talking about a busy road or highway where somebody is taking a left turn, and then they go into a bike lane, which you are never allowed to do. People.
Yeah, cities, urban areas, like, yeah, no.
And this is what drives me up a wall. It's like, you know what? We're not just on the roads for ourselves. We're on the roads with other people who have families, who have children, who have pets. And if they don't come back home because of some dumb mistake, or because you couldn't wait 5 frickin' minutes, or because you can't seem to leave the house when you need to, because trust me, I know all about that. I know all about running late all the time. I am late all the time. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go around somebody else just because they're taking a turn, or oh my gosh, unless there's some kind of medical emergency, if you have cut off a limb and are bleeding all over the car, okay, I can see you doing that. But clearly there's not enough incidences where that is necessary, where you have to go around somebody in a bike lane. If there's 2 lanes and nobody's coming, and like Jason was saying, you can see everything, use the left passing lane. For God's sakes.
Yeah. Well, I chalk this up to, I think the driving is just a part of a larger issue. And it's just that people just can't be bothered to wait. Like even if for anything at all, for that matter, in traffic situations or anything, if it's longer than like 10 seconds, they have to wait. They have to be inconvenienced. Oh my God. More than 30 seconds or less. They lose, people go ballistic. Yes. They absolutely go ballistic. And I think this isn't almost everywhere. Like, I think maybe listeners from just about anywhere can maybe share a similar story where they're just like, people cannot be bothered to wait.
No, they can't. And it drives me up a wall. It's like, if you don't have any patience, then maybe you shouldn't be behind the wheel. Because again, it's not a right for you to drive. It is a privilege. You are given a privilege to use that license safely and responsibly. So, it was so funny because we were in, I was recently in court because of my dog. Don't ask, that'll be another episode, which I have to complain about. But there was I want to say 16 people ahead of us in court. Most of them were teenage drivers, but the rest of them were not. They were in their 30s. They were in their 40s. They were grown people. And guess what they were in there for? They were in there for driving too close to the other car. The judge said, people in Colorado don't seem to understand that you are supposed to be 3 car lengths behind any vehicle on any road or highway or interstate. 3 car lengths. Think of a Toyota sedan. 3 of those are supposed to be between you and the other driver. He's like, unfortunately, so many people on the road don't seem to understand this. It is a 4-point ticket, meaning 4 points will automatically be taken off your license if you are caught driving too close to others.
Yeah, it's called
3 car lengths.
Yeah, it's called reaction time.
Yes. And so often people do not put that space between them and the other car. And he's like, that includes, he's like, now I'm giving you all tickets because you were driving too close to other people. But when you come to a stop light, you're supposed to have 3 car lengths between you and the other car, because if somebody has to back up because they've pulled too far into the intersection at a stoplight, they're supposed to be reassured that they can back up if they need to, which means that everybody backs up. So he's like, so be mindful that especially in this town, if an officer sees people too close together at a stoplight or a stop sign, you will be ticketed. I was like, wow, that's interesting, because there were a lot of people in court that day, and they all had 4 points automatically taken off their license.
Yeah, it's no joke. I mean, they hit me pretty hard with my speeding ticket, but that was, that was the signage. To my credit, that signage was not properly
clear
posted. I mean, yes, there was a school. It was a school zone, but there was no flashing lights. And unless you are already familiar with that neighborhood, you're not going to know. It's not immediately obvious, like, oh, there's a school here. The signage should be very well, but anyway, that's another story.
I saw that signage. You showed me that signage.
I was going to fight it, yeah, and the ticket was pretty hefty. I mean, they hurt me. They hurt me with that. I paid it because I just, at the end of the day, just didn't want the hassle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they count on too. Is like, no, they count on people just giving in and not fighting. But
well, I mean, to be fair, the signage that they did have was practically pointing straight up to the sky.
Yeah, it was
damaged.
It was not effective.
And there were trees hanging down.
Yeah.
There were tree limbs.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then the city needs to cut the trees in order for everybody to be on the same page. Now, is that an excuse for Nigel to be speeding through a school zone?
I was late to work. And I think I actually was.
Well, after the ticket, yeah, but I think if that hadn't have happened, you would have been just fine. And I will tell everybody, this man does not speed. Normally, he does not speed. He does not, I mean, what were you going, like 5 or 10 miles over the...
It was like 15 maybe.
Oh,
it was
my
like
God,
third.
seriously?
It was like, I was going 35 and it was like a 20 because it was a school zone.
Oh, shit.
But, it was during, certain hours, I guess whatever.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
The actual times that the children could be attending school might be more dangerous.
Yeah. So just, just be mindful, y'all.
Please do, because what I saw today really pissed me off. So there's my 2 cents.
As it should.
And not only does the person not want to be hit, but the other drivers or passengers don't want to see that shit, man. That shit's it's traumatic.
Yeah. And I'm all about bike traffic. Like, hey, I am all about seeing more bikes and fewer cars. I would love to see that. I would love to see, cities have entire parts of town that are just like no motor traffic. I would love that. But I don't think it's likely to happen, but I would love to see that. But we're so far away from that.
I know. And quite frankly, with the kinds of ignorant drivers that are out there, it's too dangerous. It's so dangerous.
Absolutely.
At least Longmont, Colorado has one designated greenway. Actually, the major one goes all the way through town, but they have other greenways that go through the neighborhoods so that the kids can get to school without ever going even on a neighborhood street.
Yeah.
So they're doing something right.
Right.
So shout out to Longmont Planning Department for providing safe bike paths for the kiddos and adults.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, there's my 2 cents. I'm done ranting.
We're done musing and in the morning.
Ranting. Yeah.
Ranting.
So everybody be safe out there. Be safe. Be conscious. Be aware. And try to have some patience, would you? Let the people turn.
Just a teens,
All right.
All right.
Take care.
Well, Natty and Nigel out. Thanks for listening to Morning Musings and Midnight Chats, a Javi Media Network presentation. If you have some comments, questions, complaints, or rants of your own to throw at us, by all means hit us up at info@javimedia.net or through our voicemail number 303-731-6104. You can find the Javi Media Network on TikTok and other social media, or on the web at javimedia.net. Javi Media.